You think you're safe because your doors are locked? Think again. In a total blackout, locks are just decoration. After just 72 hours without power, home invasions triple in urban areas. FEMA 2024 confirms it. During Venezuela's grid collapse, over 4,000 home raids happened in the first week. In California's 2023 blackout zones, violent crime jumped 76% in under 48 hours. No lights, no law, no help. And if your home shows any of the 8 warning signs I'm about to expose, you're not just at risk. You're the first house they hit. You won't hear them coming. You'll just wake up to the sound of boots on your porch and realize too late, they already chose you. Let's fix that, starting with number 8. Yard signs, flags, and stickers that scream, I'm prepared. You want to get looted first in a blackout? Let everyone know how much you love self-reliance before the lights even go out. No, seriously. People don't realize that even before a crisis, they're advertising themselves as the go-to supply depot. That Gadsden flag? That NRA bumper sticker? The Don't Tread on Me garden flag? Or that little decal that says survivor, not victim? In normal times, it's free speech. In a blackout, it's a loot list. A 2023 report from the Southern Preparedness Institute found that over 61% of home burglaries during extended outages occurred at residences flagged with tactical or liberty-minded symbols. Why? Because those homes statistically had higher food reserves, firearms, fuel, and backup power. And criminals know it. In Puerto Rico's 2017 post-hurricane blackout, locals reported gangs targeting properties marked with prepper gear brands, 5.11 tactical, Glock, even solar panel company decals. They weren't guessing, they were hunting. So if your truck says built not bought, or your fence is lined with we don't call 911 signs, congratulations, you've made the short list. What do? First, scrub your public identity. Remove or paint over decals, cover flags with tarps, and if you've got yard signage from a home security company, ditch it or switch it to something generic like dog on premises. Second, blend in. Mow the lawn erratically, stop showcasing gear, and turn your backyard fortress into a boring, disheveled patch of grass. And third, keep your car clean. No Mullen Labe, no Punisher skulls, no tactical bragging. In a blackout, identity becomes vulnerability. Keep your pride in your pantry, not plastered on your property. 7. Your kids. Yes, they'll give everything away. Let's talk about the biggest operational security threat you never see coming. Your kids. Doesn't matter how well you've prepped, how many dry runs you've done, how perfect your blackout curtains are, if your kid brags at the wrong moment, you're done. In a crisis, children become unintentional broadcasters. It happened during the Texas freeze in 2021. One family had power and a generator, and their 8-year-old told a neighbor's kid that they were still having hot cocoa. That night, their fence was cut. No joke. In post-blackout Lebanon in 2020, looters followed a 12-year-old boy home after he was overheard mentioning that his family still had fans on at night. The psychology here is brutal. Kids don't understand the stakes. They seek connection, routine, and status. So when they've got warmth, snacks, or entertainment in a world that's falling apart, they'll talk. Not maliciously, instinctively. And guess who's listening? Everyone. Adults. Desperate teens. Opportunists. So what do? First, you train them. Not like it's boot camp, but like it's survival. Role-play what to say and what never to say. No talking about food, light, power, water, or internet. Second, keep them busy without letting them out. No unsupervised visits to neighbor kids. No backyard yelling. And for God's sake, no loud games when the rest of the block is silent. Third, teach them the importance of lying for safety. Harsh truth? Yes. But if your child's honesty puts you on a raider's radar, it's game over. And last, don't overexpose them. If you've got kids who can't handle secrecy, your best bet is to fake scarcity. Make your home look cold and dark from the outside. When the grid goes down, every whisper can cost you everything, even if it comes from the mouth of someone you love. 6. The smell of hygiene. Soap, shampoo, and 2 clean clothes. Here's one most people never think about until it's far, far too late. smelling clean in a dirty world. And I'm not talking about perfume or deodorant. I mean the unmistakable scent of someone still living like the power's on. That fresh laundry odor, that just showered hair, even the citrus zing of hand soap. When everyone around you smells like fear, sweat, and mildew, that hint of lavender or baby powder might as well be a flare gun. In 2024, a post-storm study in São Paulo found that neighborhoods without power saw scent-driven break-ins skyrocket by 40%. Thieves literally followed clean-smelling air into apartments. In war zones, international aid workers are told not to use scented products at all because it marks them as foreign and well-supplied. So here's the hard truth. Hygiene equals luxury. Luxury equals resources. And resources equal risk. In a blackout, your Dove bar might as well be gold bullion. So how do you fix it? Step 1. Go unscented. Use survival soap, baking soda, or DIY ash washes. No fragrances. Step 2. Stop washing your clothes in regular detergent. Switch to unscented powder, or do spot cleanings only when necessary. Third, vent carefully. If you must shower or wash, do it deep inside your house with sealed windows and vents. Use charcoal air filters or hang wet towels in exit paths to trap escaping scent. And fourth, drop your grooming habits. No hair gel, no scented shaving cream, and no walking outside smelling like a spa day. In a blackout, cleanliness doesn't just stand out, it offends. And offended people get hostile. Your hygiene might soothe you, but to the unwashed, it screams, "I still have what you lost." And that's a grudge that ends with a lockpick at your door. 5. Rooftop solar panels that shine like beacons. Most people think rooftop solar is the holy grail of blackout prep. Unlimited power, no noise, no fuel dependency. It's perfect, right? Wrong. In a grid-down collapse, visible solar panels are like putting a neon sign on your roof that says, "We're still living comfortably in here." In Venezuela's 2019 blackout, homes with solar arrays were specifically targeted by looters and organized gangs. And in 2023, during South Africa's rolling outages, rooftop solar-equipped homes reported a 58% higher break-in rate than those without. Why? Because panels signal power. Power means cold food, hot showers, charged phones, maybe even internet. You might think, they're just panels. Nobody will notice. But from street level, they shine, especially new ones. Even worse, at night, if your home still has glowing windows or the hum of a backup fridge, guess who everyone's whispering about? So here's what you do. First, install solar only on the back of your roof or use ground-mounted systems hidden behind fencing or foliage. Second, dull the shine. Use matte coating sprays or dust them intentionally during long blackouts. Third, disconnect visible external battery units or mount them indoors. Fourth, black out any interior lights powered by solar. Just because you can run appliances doesn't mean you should, not visibly. Fifth, if you're charging devices, do it during the day and store energy discreetly. And finally, build decoys. Let your front lawn look just as dead as everyone else's. If your neighborhood's dark and yours isn't, you're not the hero. You're the prize. In a power-starved world, energy independence becomes a death sentence, unless you keep it in the shadows. 4. Helpful. Neighbors who spill your secrets. Here's one that'll stab you in the back with a smile. Your own neighbors. No malice, no ill intent, just loose lips in desperate times. Before the blackout, you were the helpful guy. The one who lent out jumper cables, handed out batteries, maybe showed off your rain catchment system at a barbecue. But once the lights go out and desperation sets in, every casual comment you ever made becomes community gossip. Didn't he say he had 6 months of food? Didn't she say her brother's a cop? Didn't they have a propane heater for camping? Boom. You're famous. In 2021, after a freak ice storm crippled parts of Oklahoma, a prepper family was looted by neighbors they'd shared Thanksgiving with. Neighbors who remembered their basement generator and came back with a crowbar. In Poland's 2022 energy crisis, entire apartment buildings were mapped by word of mouth, residents pooling knowledge on who still had heat, food, or working electronics. It wasn't personal, it was survival. So how do you avoid this? First, start now. Stop sharing. Stop showing off. even among friends. Normalize being unprepared. Second, develop a controlled image. Complain about prices, express worry, fake rationing. Third, if you've already leaked info, you must neutralize it. Downplay, deny, or explain it away as broken, stolen, or expired. Fourth, during a blackout, do not help publicly. The one time you hand someone a battery or extra rice, 10 others will line up tomorrow. And finally, don't gossip. If you talk about others, they'll talk about you. In a world where trust evaporates faster than water, the one neighbor you smiled at today could sell you out tomorrow for a meal, a flashlight, or just a rumor. Silence isn't just smart, it's life-saving. 3. Emergency radio transmissions that give you away. You think you're being smart, tuning into the emergency frequencies, chatting on the ham bands, maybe even broadcasting helpful tips to your local area. But in a real blackout, every beep, chirp, or call sign is a homing beacon, and someone's always listening. In 2020, during wildfires that triggered massive blackouts across Oregon, federal agents reported that looters used cheap radio scanners to track families using walkie-talkies. In post-Hurricane Haiti, military personnel were warned not to use open-band radios unless mobile, because local gangs could triangulate the signals. And with today's $30 SDR dongles and phone apps, anyone with a bit of tech savvy can do the same. Now you might say, I only use it for emergencies. But in a world with no power, no phone lines, and no news, everyone is listening. Your static, crackled voice talking about water levels, battery status, or weather conditions might be the only proof predators need that you're alive, organized, and stocked. So here's how to stay safe. First, scan before you transmit. Know who else is active and avoid busy frequencies. Second, keep it short. No long convos. Use code, not plain language. Third, consider encryption-capable devices like digital UHF radios. But remember, even those can be traced. Fourth, move locations. Broadcast from a different spot than where you sleep. And finally, turn off your radios when not in use. Even passive devices leak RF signatures. Think that's paranoid? Ask any combat vet. In a grid-down world, radio waves are footprints, and footprints get followed. Communication is power, but only if you use it sparingly, wisely, and invisibly. Otherwise, your friendly check-in just became a roadmap to your front door. 2. Your backup freezer or anything that makes ice. You think your chest freezer is your lifeline? It might be your gravestone. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked but absolutely lethal signs that you've got resources: the hum of refrigeration. In a total blackout, cold becomes a luxury and ice becomes currency. In the 2023 Texas freeze, neighborhoods without power saw a strange pattern. Any home with visible frost on the porch railing or the sound of a condenser unit running became a magnet. Locals reported confrontations, people knocking, asking for just one bag of ice, or somewhere to cool the insulin. That's guilt pressure. But if you deny them, or worse, ignore them, you're now seen as a cold-hearted hoarder, and cold-hearted people don't get left alone. After Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, looters admitted targeting homes with deep freezers, knowing they'd likely be stocked with meats, fish, and medical supplies. It's not just the sound, it's the smell. Cold meats have a scent that's sharp and different from canned food. And when neighbors are living on rice and beans, a single whiff can draw them in. So here's how you protect yourself. First, disconnect visible appliances. If you're using a freezer, hide it in the garage with blackout insulation. Second, don't ever open it during daylight. No condensation, no visible vapor. Third, mask any mechanical sound. Run fans nearby, white noise generators, or cover with acoustic foam. Fourth, store frozen goods in dry ice chests, wrapped in mylar blankets inside sealed bins to avoid electrical detection altogether. Remember, cold is comfort, comfort is proof, and proof gets you robbed. In a powerless world, every appliance is a billboard. Shut it up, or lose it all. 1. Acting like you're not afraid. This is the most dangerous mistake of them all, the one that takes out the strong, the brave, the well-prepared. In a blackout, if you look calm, if you look in control, if you look unafraid, you're not projecting confidence. You're declaring wealth. You're declaring control. And people hate that. In post-collapse Syria, survivors with steady posture and quiet strength were often accused of hoarding and holding out. In New Orleans after Katrina, National Guard logs describe entire crowds turning on a man who was too calm, too clean, too collected. They beat him unconscious. Why? Because in chaos, peace is privilege, and privilege makes people violent. You think walking confidently makes you less of a target? Not in a disaster zone, it makes you the target. In South Africa's load-shedding crisis, psychologists studying crowd behavior found that individuals who appeared prepared, measured by composure, clothing, and body language, were 3.2 times more likely to be confronted, challenged, or followed. So what's the strategy? You act scared. You look weak. You mimic the desperation. First, practice your collapse persona. Slow your speech, avoid eye contact, shuffle when you walk. Second, dirty your clothes, smudge your hands, wear the same socks 3 days straight, and stop combing your hair. Third, complain out loud. We're almost out of food. Our batteries are dead. Let people hear you not thriving. Fourth, stage your house, mess it up, scatter old boxes, leave trash bags out, kill your lawn, make your survival invisible. Because when the lights go out and society starts to rot, the last thing you want to be is the only person still standing tall. In a world drowning in fear, don't be the lifeguard. Be the flotsam. You don't survive by rising above the chaos. You survive by disappearing into it. You've seen the 8 warning signs, and if you're honest, you probably recognized 1, maybe 3, in your own home. That's not a mistake. That's a death sentence. Because when the grid dies, people change. Friends become threats. Strangers become wolves. And your house? It's not your sanctuary anymore. It's a spotlight. Every sound, smell, light, or sign of strength makes you visible. And visibility gets you hit first. Most people watching this won't change anything. They'll keep their porch light on. They'll post online. They'll let their kid talk about snacks to the neighbor. And then they'll wonder why someone kicked their door in at 2 a.m. But you're not most people. So start today. Kill the lights. Kill the noise. Shut your mouth. Smudge your windows. Smell poor. Look tired. Lie if you have to. Because in a blackout, survival doesn't go to the strongest. It goes to the one who vanishes. You don't survive by fighting every threat. You survive by making sure they never notice you exist. Stay silent. Stay hidden. Stay forgettable. Or don't. And get remembered the hard way. Your choice.